The next thing I want to do is walk you through how to create your first blog post. So we'll be able to change this out with your own blog post. And by the end of this section, you'll know how to create blog posts for your site. That will include adding text, formatting that text, adding images, embedding video, adding links to your site, and more. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. So we'll head back over to our dashboard, and under here, we want to look for posts, and we'll add new. And this is the area where you will work the majority of your time on your site for, because you'll be adding your own content. So we'll just walk through this step by step so you can get a good feel of how to add your own blog post. When you're creating your articles, you want to create a good blog post title. This is a catchy title that tells the reader what this blog post is about. And then this area is your visual editor, or the area where you can type it in. It's like your Google Docs or a Microsoft Word document, and it has many of the same features and functionalities up here. These are the formatting tools that you can use for your site. And you want to make sure that you click this button, because then it shows you a second row of more formatting buttons that you can use. So with this, you can just add your content and format it as you need. So I'm going to add a little bit of text in here that we already have. All right, now that I've added a little bit of text, we can format it a little bit. When you're in here, you can highlight things, left click and highlight, and maybe change the heading on that to be a larger heading for you. I'm going to highlight these items because we want to do bullet items for those. And what if somebody said something about this? We can actually do a block quote, and that'll look like a quote that somebody said. And what if all of these are actually, they should be links to another area? You can highlight that. We want to insert a link, and then we can do link options. And when adding the web address, you can either add the web address here, you paste it in because you know the web address that you want to add. When you click open a new tab, then that means that the page that people are reading will still stay there, and it'll open up this link into a new tab. That's actually a good way to keep your users on your site without them losing their place. So I will do that. Now, if you want to link to your own information on your own site, which is always a good idea, then WordPress will show you pages and posts to choose from down here, and you can even search and it'll bring up the most appropriate one like that. So I'm happy with this link up here. I'm going to click add link, and when I do that, you see that there's a link there. So we've added a link there, we've added some bullet points. This looks really good, however, it's pretty text heavy. So let's go ahead and add some images. Images are all kept in the media library, but you can add them from a button up here. So I'm going to click here, press enter, and I want to add a media file. From here, you can either drag a file in here, or you can click select file and navigate to your image, find it, and open it. WordPress will bring it into the media library, and you have all this information over here: the size of the file, the dimensions, the web address that you can find this image. You want to give it a good title, and you always want to add the alternative text. The alt text will tell them what the image is about. Down here are a few display options. You can either align the image, you can make it link to a custom URL or link to itself. That means it'll open in a new window, or you can do none. I'll do none for this one. And the size, when you import an image, WordPress will create different dimensions for the different areas. So for this one, we're going to do a medium, which is a 300 by 200. And when I'm happy with it all, we can insert it into the post. And you see it's up here. Once it's inserted, you can still do a little bit of adjusting. As you notice, I clicked on it and I have my ability to see what it looks like if I align it left, which I like. You can also align right, and that just depends on how you want the flow to go. Now I want to add a video for my users who like video. So I'm going to go out to YouTube, find the video that I want to add. I'll click on the address bar so I can right click and copy. Now I need to head back over to my post. Scroll down to the area where I want to put it. Click enter to create a new line. And from here, I'll right click, paste it. As soon as I click paste, it'll bring that video into my blog post, and now we're ready to go. All right, that's all looking pretty good, and I like that. So those are the main items that you'll use when creating your blog post. The final thing you want to do is you want to either publish it immediately, or if you're doing multiple blog posts at once, you can also schedule them out for a future date. And when you do that, then you can just click schedule. I'm happy with my blog post, so I'm going to click publish. And now we have our link here that we can see what it looks like. Scrolling down, we see that we have our title like we want. You see the publish date and the author. Over here is our image that we have. Scrolling down, you have the bullet points that we've created. And this is what a quoted text looks like on this theme. Right here is a link that will take you to a new website, and that's opening up into a new window like we set it up to do. As we keep scrolling, we also now see our embedded video, and I can play it from here. And just finishing it up, it looks like a very good first blog post. Now that you've set up your first blog post, let's go ahead and set up some pages. A page is slightly different from a blog post because as I scroll up here on our blog post, you see that we have a timestamp and the author, and people can comment. Well, a page on WordPress is a little bit different. This is information that doesn't change. It's pretty static, meaning it doesn't change over time. So it doesn't need a date stamp and it doesn't need an author. It's just information about your site. So we're going to do that next. But first I want to close out some of our tabs that we've got open. And I'm going to go back to my dashboard. You can always get back to your admin dashboard by adding admin to the end of your site like that. All right, from the dashboard, we're going to look for the pages area and I'll click add new. The first page we'll do is our about us page. This is usually all the information that will make somebody want to read your site. It gives them just a little bit more information as to why you have the site going on and what they can expect from reading your site. So you'll want to fill that out. I'm going to copy in the info from our site. And just like with the blog post, you can use all of these formatting areas up here to format your text. So there's our about page. I want to go ahead and do one more. We'll go ahead and publish that. The next page we're going to create is a contact us page. And to do that, I'll actually need to install a plugin. Plugins are like WordPress apps, and they help your site do more. You can add functionality like, say, a photo gallery, maybe a contact form, or even an online store just by installing and setting up a WordPress plugin. So I'm going to go into plugins, add new, and just like with themes, these are all the plugins that are coming from the WordPress plugin repository. WordPress reviews all of these and houses them in one location. The plugin that I'm looking for is called WP Forms Lite, and this is the one I want, so I will install that and activate it. Now, every plugin is different. Like I said, every plugin gives you extra features for your site. This particular plugin allows me to create a contact form very easily. So now that I've installed it and activated it, you see this new section over here. So we need to create a new one. And this is the dashboard for the form. I'm going to just create a contact. I'm going to name it Contact Us. And I'm going to go ahead and use a template that they have. Simple contact form. It does most of the work for me. And you see here, this is what it'll look like. You'll ask them for their name, and you can decide if you want it to be a required item or not. You can also choose if you want to have the first and last name, choose to have the email, and then you give them an area to comment or send you a message. This is all very good, and we actually want all of this. I will just use the simple, we just need their first name. And looking over it, it all looks good. So I'm going to click Save. And you can either click Embed here, but we're going to create our page, and I'll show you how to add it from the Contact Us page. So I'll close that out. And now we have our form. We see it here. So to add that to our page, let's go to Pages, Add New, and we'll create a contact page. And now you see this new button here. Before we just had the media. So I'll click Add Form. These are all the forms we have available. That's the only one I want. So I'll click Add Form. And you see this bit of code. In WordPress, this is called a short code. And it brings in all the information that you need once you hit publish. Above here, I'll add a little text that will come before the form just to give the reader a little bit of information. Now I'm happy with it since it's a really simple contact page. Now I can show you what that looks like on our site. I'll open up a new page, scroll down, and then this is our Contact Us form. Very nice and clean, and people can now get in touch with you in a simple way. All right, now that we've got our pages installed and we have our first blog post, you notice up here we don't have our menu. It gives our readers an easy way to navigate through our site. So let's go ahead and add our menu for our site. To do that, we're going to go back to our dashboard, and we want to go under Appearance, Menus. So here's the area where we create a menu. So I'm going to just get started here. I'm going to name it. And you have to click Create. By default, it's pulling over all of our pages in case that's what we want. And we do kind of want that. However, I'm going to remove my sample page. You can remove any page you need to by clicking on the drop-down arrow here and then clicking Remove like this. And you see here we have our home page that is a custom link. And when somebody clicks on that, it just takes them back to the home page. People are used to that, so we want to keep that. We have our About Us page and our Contact Us page. From here, you can move these around by left click and dragging them. You see also when you have it indented like that, it'll be a sub page. I'll leave this so you can see what that looks like on the site. Over on the left, these are all of the things that you can add to your menu. If you have a category that's a very popular category, you can add that here. You can also do a specific post. If you have one of your most popular posts, you could add that here as well. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to save this menu because I want to show you what all this looks like. And then we need to put it somewhere. So we need to go to Manage Locations. Depending on what theme you have, you'll have different menu locations here. So the theme that I have only has one location and it's up at the top. So I'll use that one for my top primary location. We'll save our changes. And now when I refresh and go to the home page, you see our menu here. This is what I was talking about with that indented part. It now becomes a drop down for my menu. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to move that out of the way because I want to have all three pages on their own level. And that looks pretty good. You see, for this theme, it will highlight. So you see with this one, it will highlight which page you're on, so your reader always knows where they are. All right, so that's looking really good. One of the next areas that we want to work on is this area right here. It's called the sidebar area, and we use widgets to populate it. With widgets, you can easily showcase parts of your website over on the sidebar. Things like recent posts, popular categories, and a search feature can be added over here. So let's work on that next. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard. We're done with the menus. So we'll head over to the widgets area. And here you see these are already the ones we have on our sidebar. You've got the search, our recent posts, and that shows the top 5 posts. And we also have categories. Any post that has a category assigned to it will be under there. And then on the left, these are all of the widgets that we can use right now. When you add more plugins, like with the WP Forms Lite, you see a widget here is now available. You also have a text widget, and that allows you to type any text into the sidebar and it'll even let you use HTML and CSS to use that. To delete any of those, like with the category, you can just do the drop down and click delete. And then you can also add one. For instance, I'll add the WP Forms widget, and it's a drag and drop feature. So I will left click drag this over, and I want to show the contact us form, and I'll click display form title, and then I can hit save. Now that I'm finished, we can take a look and see what it looks like on the site. And you see how it reduces the size so it fits properly in the sidebar area. If you notice over here, you'll see a highlighted area over here. That means that one of our plugins has an update available for us. And so we're going to click on installed plugins. WP Forms Lite that has an update. You want to make sure that you keep all of your plugins and your themes up to date. That just helps keep your site more secure. And a plugin update could also include a features enhancement. So we're going to click update now. So we'll go out and get the latest update for that plugin. And now we are all up to date. This next bit is just a little bit of website housekeeping. I want to show you how you can adjust your web address that you see up here. And we also want to make sure that the search engines like Google can see us. So if you're ready, let's get started. You see when I click on my blog post here, you have all of this information up at the top, and it's sorted by the date and the month. And some people might like that, especially if you're using like a diary type blog. However, if you want to change that, you can actually go into your dashboard, go down to settings, permalinks, and from here you can decide how you want this set up. As you see, it's currently set by date and name, and a lot of people like to use the post name. That's actually what I like to use. So I'm going to click on the post name, and that will just shorten up my web address a little bit and make it a little bit more functional. Again, if you're using it as a journal, then feel free to keep it as it is, but that's how I want it. So I'm going to go in and click Save Changes. And now when we take a look at the site, and when I hit refresh, you see that the web address has changed and has removed the dates. And now all that's left is my post title in there. The next setting that we want to make sure that we have is under the reading. So we'll click on reading, and we'll scroll all the way down till you find the search engine visibility. You'll want to make sure that this is not checked. Since you're creating a blog and you want people to see it, you want the search engines like Google or Bing or Yahoo to be able to find your site. So you want to make sure that search engines are looking for your site. So you can uncheck that and make sure you save changes. Okay, we're at the end of this video and you did it. In this video, you learned how to start your own WordPress blog. And we covered a lot of steps to get you up and running quickly. First, you registered your domain name or your website's address on the internet. And then you set up hosting for your website. That's where your site lives. You installed WordPress, and then you designed and customized your website using a WordPress theme. You created your first blog post and added pages, plugins, menus, widgets. You even made some settings changes to make the site completely yours. We hope you enjoyed this video on creating your first blog. And remember, if you have any WordPress questions, just search wpbeginner.com for all your WordPress tutorials. Look over our WP Beginner Glossary for quick WordPress definitions, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more helpful WordPress videos.